Yes, indeed. I did tell you that we're switching gears to politics now. And this time around, we're taking a look at recent developments around the polity. In recent times, the National Assembly has undertaken a constitutional amendment process, and they've taken that to different parts of the country, to different zones in the country, to try and get a feel of what the people want. In some cases, they've asked for new states to be created. But in some other cases, like in the South-South zone, when they went to Akwa Ibom State, that was firmly rejected. We're happy in the state that we are in, and those Western states are not speaking for us. So we've had situations like that. But what else should be the priority of this constitutional amendment, even as we take on other issues that the Grand Coalition is also bringing on board? This morning, we have joining us Dr. Chima Naji, who is a public affairs analyst. Dr. Naji, we have missed you on this program. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you very much, Mokwe. I'm glad to be here. And good morning to Nigerians and their viewers in diaspora.
Well, I'm sure that you have been watching very keenly developments in the polity. We've spoken about constitutional amendment process several times. And of course, we know that this is, one recurring decimal with every assembly that has come on board. What do you think should be the priorities of this particular assembly, even as they consider this matter of constitutional amendment?
Thank you very much. To start with, the opportunity to amend the Constitution is informed by the desire to adjust to emerging realities that were probably not considered, foreseeable, or maybe forgotten by way of one interest or the other suppressing us at that particular time. It's an opportunity to redress such situation and address new developments in the polity or within the political system. Having said this, the question is, even the ones that have been done before, what were they able to achieve? And the purpose of amendment has always been to make sure that we improve our federalism. A lot of arguments have been put forward that our federalism is highly lopsided, not only in favor of the federal government that carries a lot of the powers, but also that in terms of relationship between states or among the states, there are problems. So citizens themselves are not getting the best that they could, but by way of their own citizenship rights and the personal development. So we would want to see a situation where in this particular instance, especially given the fact that APC seem to have all the muscles to engineer that change by way of this amendment, to be critically focused on development and patriotic zeal to make this country a more habitable estate. For example, the federal government should be able to cede some of its powers under the exclusive list and be concentrating on more issues of national development rather than all the drudgeries of, for example, you want to get involved in education, primary education, secondary education, or issues concerning local governments and what have you. Those things will be dragging the federal government. It should be interested in things like citizenship, defense, and what have you. Security, everybody have been insisting that we should have state police or local police. Local, it should be state, it could be local government, and so on and so forth. It doesn't have to be state. But the important thing is that it has the force to maintain law and order. And the mechanism to work it out is there. Everybody knows. But because of interest of certain groups, or as you say, some powerful groups, we have not had the opportunity to test it. People will start by saying that the state governors will abuse. Is federal government not abusing police in some administrations? So what is the fear about? The issue is that by the time we practice, we become more perfect. So, some clauses can be inserted to make sure that nobody has the opportunity to abuse the process. It is doable. But to say outrightly you throw the baby with the bathwater is not right. There are issues that have to do with local government. I have always advocated, yes, the Supreme Court has made a statement on the issue of local government funding and what have you. But I believe that local government should be an affair of the states, and they should not take from the federation account. They should be subjected to the states. If a state wants to create 100 local governments, it will be done, maybe as an administrative means of reaching the people. But this idea of insisting that local governments can no longer be created, see what has happened to Lagos for a long time. All the LCDAs are still hanging there. Then because they fear that if they allow them to become local governments, they will begin to share from the federation account. Let us disabuse a situation where people use those top tier. In a federation, it's usually two-tier. States are the federating units. And so whatever you do at the local government will be your own shame if you don't want to develop your own people. Your people will agitate against you. But not to use it as a conduit to siphon the federation account to the discomfiture of other people who are not equally opportune. It was an opportunity for them to be created then under the military government. But now the door is closed and almost foreclosed. So that issue should be revisited under this constitutional amendment arrangement. There are a lot of issues in the legislative list where federal government should offload and leave the states. And of course, the states should leave the local governments being appendages to them to execute. It makes efficiency very, very possible. So the whole issue is to ensure that you don't have a burgeoning federal government against an emasculated state government and the other local government in the line.
So essentially you're saying that we should have more local government administrations as opposed to creating more states. Is that what you're saying essentially? Dr. Naji, can you hear me?
I cannot hear you. The network suspended the talk.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to get. I hope you can hear me now, Dr. Naji.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Awesome. So you're saying essentially, because if I can just, one of the things I can sift from what you just said now, that it's better for us to have more local government administrations as opposed to the clamor for more states.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the reason is this. Governance is local. All they do at the state level sometimes is just egotistic. But when you take the governance to the local level and you have a local government chairman who lives ostentatiously, he is not likely to live in that local government because he can't survive it. They know him. They know him or her, even to the family level. They know how he started. Like I always say that nobody in a village does not know the farm of the man who claims to be the greatest farmer. You cannot claim to be a greatest farmer without having a big barn, of yam. So in the villages, they know you. There is a history to that claim. In the same manner, what we have is too much politics. In many places where you have up to 30 local governments, 40 local governments, and so on and so forth, it is just revenue. And some of those local government chairmen and workers, they only come during the time to share the allocation. And the issue is no longer about governance. And the ultimate loser is the Federation. The Federal Republic of Nigeria is the ultimate loser.
Okay, I was going to lure you into one of the things that we really enjoy about you, and that's those analogies that we call proverbs. So there is this one that is said, and it's going to lead to my next question, Dr. Naji. It's an African proverb that the head of a newborn can't be bent when we have elders in the market. Last year, some group of elders called the Patriots paid the president a visit. And one of the things that they were asking for the president to do was to consider a new constitution. Of course, the president responded to them that in something that's in the works, but the economy was top priority. Now, this new, as Marco mentioned, the constitution amendment process is always a recurrent decimal, so to speak, for every assembly. Are you with those who say, let's just jettison this constitution and create a new one altogether? Or you think this amendment is something that can still continue to go on?
Okay, while the yam is being expected to be harvested, you can still eat corn from the same farm because corns can be harvested before the gestation period of yam. And there is also this saying, even if we are doing amendment while we are agitating for a completely new constitution, because the confab done in 2014 can provide the basis of anything we want to do with the constitution. Nigerians were almost converging under that particular arrangement to being a nation. But when time effluxed, some people saw they were having another opportunity and advantage. They decided to begin to agitate to jettison that particular document. But many eminent Nigerians agree that that particular 2014 confab was very, very, very honest on the part of the attendees to articulate. They articulated essentially the hopes and aspirations of many Nigerians on the issue of citizenship, nationhood, and so on. Because we live in a country where a group may think that they have better advantage because of one thing or the other, and they think that they are superior to others. But no nation is built with that kind of mindset. Even in a family, you don't see any good family where the parents allow their children to begin to portray themselves as superior to the other. It only breeds envy, and envy breeds disharmony in the family, just as we have it in Nigeria today. Because even if it is a house help, you are beating the house help from morning till evening. Later in the night, the house help can decide to resist in a very surprising manner, in a manner that the critics say that rather than those people who should eat it, who shouldn't eat it, should eat it, it will scatter its stomach, knowing fully well that by scattering its stomach, it's already dead, but it would have deprived those people intending to eat it the opportunity of eating meat. So this is the issue about bad governance and misgovernance. So let the situation agree, like you wanted this proverb, if snake must deliver, let it deliver something long, because snakes are not expected to deliver something short.
Okay, well, Dr. Naji, there is this other issue bordering on governance, maybe. A good number of politicians, of course, they've moved from one party to another over time since this Fourth Republic began. But now there's this new wave of a coalition that is being spoken about. Now, the angle that a good number of people perhaps may not have looked at is what is responsible for a coalition when we have existing political parties? In your opinion, what do you think could inform, or what are the chances of a coalition that is formed by politicians from existing political parties that are having problems?
Well, you have used the word coalition. Coalition means that one could not do it. It has to coalesce with others. But you know, there are dynamics involved in that. Whether that coalition will really coalesce well, because when you are mixing milk with tea, if the two are immiscible, then it is not possible to drink tea. What you'll be drinking is milk and then tea of any particular brand. But to coalesce means that there has to be, even if there is no ideological basis, the individuals have to have some tendencies towards a particular principle of life and governance. They also have to look at the law and see what the law provides to ensure that they are within the framework of their political rights, so to coalesce. And then they have to talk about how they want to reach out to the electorate, since votes are not supposed to be manufactured. Read my word. Votes are not supposed to be manufactured, even though we know there's what called rigging and all that in our climate. So anybody who is intending to go to the electorate must be able to have something that will appeal to the electorate and induce them to throw their vote. They say that the ballot box is the most painless killer. But that is not the case in Nigeria, because you can always even carry the ballot box and end the pain. But what I can tell you is the coalition is still nascent. There's a dynamics, because if it's only a tree that knows that the man coming with a machete is coming to hack it down, he will stand and be looking at it. There are also the tendency that the APC will probably be doing its own political maneuvers and machinations to ensure that even if the coalition exists, it may not have the muscle to achieve the intention of ousting it from power. So it's a dynamics that we will be we'll be looking at and see how it goes. But we know that it will be to the disadvantage of APC to think that coalition is not possible of sweeping it out of power, because it should also remember, like a child who is crying that somebody has a defective birth circumstance, will also have to look at its own poverty, how it started. So the point I'm making is that the political space should be allowed free access to politicking. There should be no intimidation by anybody who may be feeling powerful to do so. There should also not be mudslinging or political, machinations of people who may be weak and using their mouth to ingratiate their political chances. So that will also help to heat up the polity. So that's my own take on the coalition. I don't want to make too much statement on that, because there is still unraveling, and we can also not dismiss them outrightly. So it is for them to prove themselves worthy, because anybody who wants to who wants to mold the metal gong should go and look at the tail of a kite and see how nature has provided the model. So if they want a coalition and all those things, they should also borrow a leaf from APC's coalition, even if it was merger or whatever. But it can start from coalition to merger, as the case may be, so that is my position. I don't want to, I don't want to say so much on the prospect of the coalition, whether it will fail or succeed. But any child born into this world can be president. It has the potential. If he is not killed by the uncle, if the parents are dead, or killed by armed robbers or kidnapped, anything can happen. It's a potential.
Well, perhaps on the same issue, but maybe slightly different. One of the reasons that's been adduced for the that necessitated the coalition is that we do not have a virile opposition party in the country, and consequently, the federal government, or rather, the ruling party, is running. It's just doing as it wishes. Do you see a value in that conversation when we had such a strong showing by two main opposition parties in the world, two main opposition parties now? Why do you think what's responsible for not having such forces as strong as it would have been to give this government a run for its money, the federal government a run for its money?
Let me start by saying that, like I did say sometime in another forum, when there was argument about whether Nigeria was going to be one-party state or whatever, And I quickly dismissed that possibility. And indeed, anybody who is thinking that way does not understand the history of this country. This country is not very, we are so multi-dimensional in every aspect to be hoodwinked into one funnel and bottled up in a small bottle like that. So there will always be agitations. The only thing is that in a bush or a forest, you may have so many elephants, but some of them will have foot of clay, so they can't run. So that is the thing that is happening here. And nature, we say, always abhors vacuum. Whenever you tend to bottle anything, it will find an opportunity to escape. You can't easily bottle gas unless you put it under pressure. And you have to be ensuring that you are keeping it under that pressure. And anybody holding anybody down does not go to answer a call freely, because that other person will escape. So the point I'm making is because, yes, everybody knows that political parties in Nigeria, many of them are really not, in law, they say they're political parties, but the motive is to trade, to cut deals with those who have the capacity to perhaps, or even play the spoiler. So if we had political parties that run on the railroad of ideology, in which there's personal conviction on individuals joining them, you see, hunger is also not helping. It's exacerbating the political trade. Everybody is moving. When people lose election, they move to the ones that have won election. But the truth of the matter is that such people also are not doing it for the love of the political party they are going to. Like I said, when you have too many people who are rushing to a particular political party, what they did to their own, they will repeat it in the new one. By the time they reach the level of operation.
I beg your pardon, Dr. Naji. Just one issue I want to squeeze in before we go is the issue of inclusion. Excuse me. Young people don't seem to have an easy inroad into politics, into governance, be it at the federal or at the state, even at the local government levels. Do you think we need a kind of leadership mentoring system to be incubated maybe by the political parties or the state governments or the federal government? What do you think? How do you think we can systemize youth inclusion for leadership recruitment?
Well, before I answer that question, the danger in what has happened is that even the younger ones you clamor about that have been recruited have become worse than the elderly ones that had recruited them. Because when the goat is chewing north, the baby goat, the kid, is also watching. So that is what we have in the political firmament. So look around the young ones that are in politics and in positions of authority, see what they are doing themselves. So the chicanery and all the violence and what have you, everything is still here. The younger ones are not showing good example. The good example that could have come from the younger ones, those ones are excluded because they have not shown promise to those who do the recruiting. They are the ones that, I mean, how do you see apple and then you go and choose stone? That is the case of Nigeria. That stone is lethal. The apple will give you vitamin, but we know, and we still deliberately, because of maybe mere porridge, and begin to regret very raucously at the end of the day, because pain is always waiting at the end of any process, pain and pleasure. So it's for you to choose pleasure at the early stage and avoid pain and then suffer for your life, or you take pain and then go for pleasure for eternity. It's a matter of choice. So the point I'm making is there is no way you can go and carry youth and put in an incubator. It's not a hatchery. Or what do they call those people who raise chicken? There's nothing like that. It is by doing. Those people who are there now.
Dr. Naji. I really wish that we had more time. I mean, I clearly did say that we had missed you. And we look forward to having more engagements with you, especially as the political process unfolds. We have to thank you very much for coming on Sunrise Early this morning. Dr. Chima Naji is a public affairs analyst and also a legal practitioner. Chima Naji. Well, that's how we wrap up the program this beautiful Thursday morning. It's Thursday already. Can you imagine that? Well, that's where we, say goodbye. I'm Maupe Ogun Yusuf.
And I'm Ayo Makinde. Have a wonderful rest of your day.